All right, this is the I Am Rapaport podcast. I have Juliette. I want to tell you, I have Juliette Lewis in the room.
Yes.
In the studio. Isn't it a fancy studio?
This place, this is such a studio where I would get in my bikini and go jump in your pool.
That's what the fuck
it's that kind of vibe in Los Angeles. That's what kind of shit
we're trying to get going on over here, Juliette. Yeah. So, Juliette, have you, first of all right, this is the I Am Rapaport podcast.
Okay.
And when I started the podcast, I said in the beginning different people I wanted to interview, and I was like, I want to interview Robert DeNiro, Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, Allen Iverson. Then I was like, this has turned into a sausage fest. And the first woman that I said was Juliette Lewis.
Yeah.
I said I wanted to interview you. Now, I've known you. We've been friends.
I was thinking about this in the car on the way over here.
450% platonic friends for like 15 years almost, I was thinking.
Yeah, way back in the day, like 94.
Well, you know what? Do you remember when we first met?
It was the movie. What's that movie?
Nope. See, it made more of an impression on me than it made on you.
Okay.
When we first met, I was filming a movie called True Romance.
Yeah, it was right. True Romance.
With Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And Christian Slater and all those people. And he was like, my lady's getting ready to come. And I was like, who the fuck, it was like... And then you showed up and it was like,
I visited the
shit.
set.
You visited the set. And I was like, and I had just seen... No, I didn't see California yet. I had seen Cape Fear. And California was coming out. And I was already fucking out of my mind doing that movie because it was like, I was in True Romance. And it was like, for me, it was like Brad Pitt, Christian Slater, Dennis Hopper, Christopher Walken.
And it was a Tarantino piece.
Big Tarantino, Tony Scott. And then you show up on the set. And like Brad Pitt was famous, but he wasn't Brad Pitt yet.
No,
but you
yet.
knew he was special. Like you knew he was going to be a big star. But I had been fucking with you since Vacation, Christmas, but then Cape Fear. Like I didn't correlate the chick from Vacation was the chick from Cape Fear. But then a few days later, you guys invited me, or Brad Pitt.
Brad loved you. That's all I remember is that's when my first getting to know you was he said, I have to meet you, that you're kind of who he bonded with on the set.
We had fun.
Of that movie, yeah.
And then I went to go see California.
Oh, yeah, a screening.
And it bugged me the fuck out.
Oh, cool.
That movie bugged me out because, like, at the time, I mean, when I first saw that movie, like, I think at the time, like, in independent films and, like, those kinds of performance and that kind of violence, you didn't see that kind of violence in movies, particularly, as graphic and as raw it was, and it was sexual, and I was like, damn, it was a kind of a disturbing movie to see.
Well, here's the trip, though, about certain movies is you're getting to know these characters and something dark is brewing, but so it's not gratuitous violence. If you remember in that movie California, toward the end is when Brad Pitt's character gets violent, and then the couple, which is Duchovny and Michelle, God, why am I forgetting her last name?
With the dark hair, she's good.
Yeah, she's beautiful, beautiful actress. But they're taking pictures that are very graphic.
Right.
But the whole thing, there's not much violence in it except for toward the end. But it's imminent, so it has that doom to it. So it's different than the gratuitous kind of vibe. And then it was also Brad's first time playing something that dark.
It was dark.
And I think that was exciting for people to see.
Yeah, and it was exciting for people to see. But alone from that, it was Brad Pitt. It was the performance. Like that performance was like fucking dark, and like the two of you, like I remember, like I mean, like you did like the sex. Like one time you were having like sex in the car, and like he's looking at Dave. I was like, this is fun.
That scene.
It was bugged out.
For me, from my perspective, I'm like in the land of Adele and that's like a childlike mind. So I hear you. It was like when people saw Cape Fear and they're like, oh my God, your character and the sexual and the sexuality and all this. And I'm like, what? I'm just playing the part of that girl. So I don't look at it in the objective, the way that everybody else sees it. But,
yeah, well, it was... Yeah. We're going to get to all that shit,
right.
Jules. We're going to get to all that shit.
Jeez.
All right? Because you were, like I said, you were one of the first female I said I want to interview. Now, I haven't gotten to DeNiro, Pacino. None of those guys have showed up yet. So you're the first one I got. But you were still on that first list. So,
hey, I appreciate it.
So I'm going to just throw these things at you.
Yeah.
When you get recognized... what's probably...
I already know the
This is a question I get asked, and it's kind of annoying, but like, what's probably because you've done iconic shit. Like, I know to you, you're like, no, it's just a movie. When's the next iconic shit? But like,
I appreciate what you're saying.
You've done iconic shit. Like, you've done, like, when I was going over the list of things, you've done like 4 or 5 iconic roles in iconic movies. That's more than some people do in a whole fucking career.
That's cool.
Like, that's real shit. And even like, like, even when you go back to like fucking Christmas Vacation, that's iconic. Now, that's not like something you'd be like, that's my best work, but it's still a movie that it spans the test of time.
It's weird when you've been around for a couple decades and you look back, because I had a run. I had a run that part of it, I can't say I had any, is luck of is timing and these other things. But the other part is what I gravitated towards,
right.
and the people that validated and chose me and got lit up by me, which is a Scorsese, Oliver Stone, Lasse Hallström,
right.
even Catherine Bigelow
right.
for Strange Days.
Right.
And some of these movies didn't hit at the time,
right.
and they hit later.
Right.
Like even What's Eating Gilbert Grape, that wasn't, all these things kind of became their own thing
right.
after the fact. And Natural Born Killers continues to be its own thing. I mean, I'm still shocked when teenagers today, like my man was just telling me, he was like, no, that's something that every generation kind of cuts their teeth on.
Shit's iconic.
Watches some Natural Born Killers, I guess. But so I look back and I have this pride, I'm really proud about it that happened. So you're going to ask, what am I most recognized? It's eclectic, even.
Right?
It is across the board. It's not what you'd think, like just... I know Natural Born Killers is a big deal to people because people don't often see women play in those tones.
Get buck wild.
Yeah, which, by the way, I have a story about your buck wild sentence.
You mean when I say your fuck style is buck wild?
No, I have the greatest story.
Right,
I've been quoting you all week.
All right, because you were getting ready for this.
Yes. Well, no, before we were going to do the podcast, should I digress and tell a story?
Fuck it.
Okay, so my man, I have a boyfriend, I threw him a birthday dinner.
Okay.
Right? And I'd never thrown, it was an intimate birthday dinner with all his friends.
Thanks for the invite. That's cool, but keep going.
Just his friends.
That's all right.
It was small. I was nervous.
No, I got you.
And I wanted to do right by him and have it be nice. So in my mind, I'm like, I know I have to do a toast at some point in the thing. And so... And I was like, how will I toast him? I want to keep it short, you know. I don't want to be too, steal the floor in front of his friends. I want his friends to say stuff. And I told him this later. I never said this sentence, but every toast I imagined myself giving him ended with the sentence, and to quote my friend Mike Rapaport, your fuck style is buck wild.
That's what the fuck I'm saying. So did you toast him?
Fuck no, I didn't say that.
Why didn't you say that to him?
I said it.
He would be complimented.
No, I said it. I didn't have the nerve to say it in front of all his friends, even though that's where you want it said. But I told him in the car that that's what I wanted to say. And to quote Mike Rapaport, your fuck style is buck wild.
That's what fuck I'm saying, Jules.
I've only ever heard you say that shit. And
I have a patent on it.
Huh?
I have a patent on that.
You should have a patent.
Yeah, your fuck style is buck wild. I didn't make it up. A friend of mine said it. It's good, right? Yeah. And it says so much. Like it gets so much across the board. Like it's just like you don't need to say much more.
No,
that should be like a standard quote,
it's
like a toast. That's a fucking good. Well, I appreciate that.
I love putting your name in it.
Right, and then he's like, "What the fuck?" Wait, and then it's like, "Wait, why?
What's Mike Rappaport saying that shit?"
And then how does he know my fuck styles, Buckwild? I'm like, why did he say that to you? but to tell anonymous Juliette Lewis's man. Me and Jules Lewis, and I say this, like, I consider you a friend.
Yeah.
Like, me and you are like friends, 4,000% plutonic.
Yeah.
I think our bonding moment, and then we're gonna make this about you because people might want to hear like about we went to the Rolling Stones in like '98.
It is a huge moment for me. You've been such a friend on so many levels.
Thanks, Jules.
But I don't know if you remember, but when I got famous early on, I used to get panic attacks.
I remember. You were bugged out.
And you like held my hand through that experience. It's Dodger Stadium, going to the Stones. that was a catharsis for me.
Yeah.
That goes down as a huge turning point in my panic attack history, where I could stand on the ground floor and be a fan of the Stones, and it like helped cure me of this crazy. I used to get crazy panic attacks, but you were there with me. I remember that.
But the thing about with you being a girl, and particularly at that time, and when you were, I mean, you're still very recognizable, but the kind of recognizable that you were then, let's just say the Natural Born Killers recognizable. Like I remember people used to come up to you extra hyped and like with a lot of energy. So I don't know if the panic attacks you would have had them if you had been on a soap opera.
Yeah, I think I would have had them. I was so introverted at that time. Just any extra, but I was like two parts because you saw me wild and funny. So I was like introverted in public, but extroverted with my friends. So I was just.
But I do remember people coming up to you like, like they were like
super
gacked to see you. Like, it'd be dudes and women, and it would be like they'd be like, it really not just excited to see you like. They're seeing like they were like, like.
Oh yeah, maybe it was lit. It was extra.
It was
hot
Natural Born Killers. It was that kind of like that shit.
That crazy zone.
That crazy, but like because those movies were so, like
I call them high stakes movies. They had such intensity because even if I wasn't the, what's the word? Not predator. Even if I wasn't the aggressor, like in Cape Fear, it's all DeNiro, but the genre of it turns on people's emotions like really strong.
And there was a sexuality, but an inadvertent. Because this is one thing that I was thinking about when I was going to interview you, because it's a different. Although we talk like this kind of, but like
you do. You always are like, but go on.
No, but when I was thinking about interview, like when I was thinking about you as an actress and like what makes you interesting as an actress, and why did I say Allen Iverson and then Juliette Lewis as far as people I want to interview, and I was like. There's never going to be, like, no one can bite your style as an actress because what you brought to the game as a female was so unique and it was just something that you had. It's an energy. Like, I think, like, acting is an energy. Like, Christopher Walken has an energy.
Yeah, I always say that.
Everybody has their own energy, but for you as a female, there was, like, this energy and there was a sexuality, but not like with any showing anything.
No, not forced at all.
I never seen your
ride that
tatas.
wave.
Have you ever showed your titties on screen?
Well, in a goofy way, like in California when he says put your titty back up. Or in Strange here, I had a rule actually because dig this, there was a couple scenes. See, my thing, because American cinema is so crazy about sex, I would do a full nude scene if I was talking to my mom on the phone or eating pizza.
Right.
But I'm not going to show my tits if it's having sex scene.
Right.
You see, because it's so played. That's all they ride on out here in America. So, in the States. So, but I love naturalism and I love realism. So to answer your question, like Natural Born Killers and Strange Days, they were both written where I was supposed to be nude during a sex scene. And I said, I'm sorry, you got to have her clothes because I just didn't want to do, it's just too much. It's too, I didn't want to be exposed in that way.
Yeah.
And,
You never showed VJ on camera?
I did this French film. I know I wore a merkin, but I was underwater. A merkin, for people who don't know, it's like fake. It's a patch. Thank God.
So it's like a fake bush?
Yeah, it was this beautiful art film. I'm swimming underwater.
Well, that doesn't count.
So I'm naked underwater. But no, I've never done like graphic sex scenes nude.
You don't really see vaginas too much. I don't want to see fucking VJs.
You know what I like? Here's what I like. I like if you literally focused on mouths or literally like sweat on skin.
Yeah.
Like there's so much stuff that could be sexy without it being just what it is.
I agree.
Yeah.
We don't need to show loafs.
What are loaves?
Like, like my loaf. I don't need to show my loaf.
Oh. You don't need any handlebars? Any love handles?
No, I'm saying your loaf, like your Johnson.
Oh, I thought you were talking about your like gut.
I'm talking about your fucking loaf.
But I do have to say, I'm a fan of male nudity.
You want to see some loafs?
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, but you mean in sexuality or in terms? So you're saying you want to see loafs, but you don't want to show VJs?
No, probably not.
I don't need to see.
I don't want to see these things.
If I want to see that, I got my internet and I fucking go on there and see it.
Somewhere else. I like energy exchange.
No,
I like tension and all these other things that play out in sexuality that have nothing to do with orifices and organs.
Absolutely. All right, now I'm going to go right to it because I don't want you to be like, I got to go. I got to meet my sister.
Yeah.
You don't have your coffee. I don't want you getting all fucking
I know, the
bent out of
coffee
shape.
thing.
You got some.
This is so fun that we're talking and then other people are going to listen to this.
Other people are going to listen.
Oh.
And they're either going to be bored to fucking tears or they're going to be like,
hear two yellers.
Yeah, but you're not really a yeller though, right?
We were yelling a little bit like 10, 20 seconds ago.
Oh, fuck.
All right, whatever.
We'll
No,
bring
I mean,
the
we have
fucking
loud
vibe.
voices. We project.
We'll mix it. We'll put it in a mix. We'll make it seem like we're calm people.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to jump right into my first question, which is Cape Fear. Like you had done a TV movie. What was the name of the TV movie you did?
Too Young to Die.
Which was really fucking good with Brad Pitt, right?
With Mr. Pitt.
And you kicked ass in that.
It was a huge turning point for both of us because he was just coming from Dallas,
right.
A TV show, like a soap opera. I was coming from sitcoms in the late 80s that show no dramatic
And you're
flair.
a kid, though.
And I'm a kid.
How old are you?
Was
17,
I was
18?
16 in that.
16.
That got the attention of DeNiro and Scorsese.
When they were casting.
Yes. Oh, and here's the funny story that they told me after the fact. I was the first girl they met on out of 500. They went all around the States to find this girl who could play opposite De Niro. And do these intense layered scenes because he's not just a villain and then she's like a little baby bunny and he scares her. There's an exchange. There's all kinds of cerebral and there's a dance that goes on in that main scene in the auditorium. And so they're looking for somebody, who could hold that with him and do that dance. And so I met with him in the Beverly Hills Hotel, just me and De Niro. He was watching TV, and I guess the way they set it up, it was all like, could I hang with him? Could I say hello? And that's the thing about me then. I was such a dichotomy because I was living on my own. But I was in a grown-up relationship, yet I was still a teenager.
Right.
So I had all that stuff that would be able to play that part. And contrary to what people thought, I wasn't that girl. They thought that's what my mentality was, and then that Scorsese just discovered me, which is true to some extent. But I wasn't that girl.
Right.
I was acting and knew what I was doing. But that was a trip that they couldn't believe. Oh yeah, Marty told me later. He's like, I was like, why did it take 2 months to hire me? I kept going back and auditioning. And he said they could not believe the first girl they saw was the girl. They couldn't believe it. They kept looking and looking and looking. And then they kept going back to me. And I just remember they kept telling me, I met them in New York. Because when I first met with De Niro, he was in the hotel and we just had a meeting, a conversation.
So wait, so you're 17, 16, you're 16?
I was 17.
And what did Robert De Niro mean to you at the time? Because like, if you're a 17-year-old girl, you're not like Raging Bull, Goodfellas. Like, what did he mean to you at the time? Was he just an actor? Was he like just some old guy? It
was perfect because I didn't know what he meant to American cinema. I wasn't versed in it. So all I knew were my agents were excited about it and what they told me, like, this is a really big opportunity. So I knew that much. And then only later after I got the job, I watched Taxi Driver, Goodfellas and stuff like that. I think I had seen or I saw Goodfellas in the auditioning process, so I knew. But that's all I knew about Scorsese.
So you weren't like intimidated. You weren't like, oh my God.
I was just regular nerves going in for a job audition, and I remember, I was not very articulate at 17.
Right.
So, and Bob De Niro, nobody knows much about him, but he is not articulate. So it was like two introverts meeting, but he did hold the conversation, and there was some political thing that was happening. So the news was on, and he just sort of asked me
what do you think
about, some topical questions, and I just sort of bluffed my way through, and there was just an energy and a tension, and so I passed that phase.
Right.
It was just like a 20-minute meeting, and then went to New York and did the auditioning phase. And
so I know it's a long time ago, and I know like that. I imagine that like for you, it's like you can't remember every single detail of what the shoot was like, but like comparing that experience to like stuff, so much more now about acting and filmmaking, but what do you remember, like what stuck out to you now about like that film that was different?
It's so funny, and this because as we grow older, and it sucks that you don't. What do they say? Youth is wasted on the young.
Yes.
Because at the time, you don't know what to appreciate and what to be grateful for, but what I do remember is Marty's enthusiasm. The second you walked on set from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., he had the same energy, and it was as if like a 10-year-old lit up by cinema was making the movie. But I mean in the enthusiasm. Of course, he's brilliant, and he knew how he was going to shoot it. But I remember we were doing scenes where he was doing all these close-ups of the door locking,
right,
and to create tension and suspense. And he was so lit up about the shots and how that's going to affect the audience, as well as when me and Bob did this scene in the auditorium. It was electric. It was electric, and I didn't know why or how. I just prepared and did I call it the tango, the emotional tango, because that's what that scene was. But he was so integral to my growth as a creative, as an artist, as an actress. He validated my instincts. Because at that time, I was just raw and all intuition. And when I did sitcoms, they tried to make me conform to bad acting.
You're not built for sitcoms,
Oh, fuck, no, I wasn't. Oh, my God.
You're not built for fucking sitcoms.
I was naturalism.
Yeah.
And they're like trying to get me to do this other thing at the time. And then I work with Marty, and he's just like setting me free, letting me do what I do, which was really internal, quiet, complicated stuff.
And all right, because I want to talk, obviously I have to talk to you about the scene. I know you've talked about it many times, but no, you haven't talked about it on the I Am Rapaport podcast, which is
or with you. I don't think
the I Am Rapaport podcast. I don't know if you know this, Jules. It's a fucking worldwide phenomenon.
It is. I want it to be.
We're
super fans of each other. I have to tell everybody I love you.
When you do the I Am Juliette Lewis podcast, and you'll have me on, you can ask me questions.
Okay.
So, but let me just ask you, like, what about Nick Nolte? Because he's such a great, talk about unique, one of a kind, iconic, American. He's so American.
Yeah.
Like, what do you remember? Like, he seems like he'd be like, he doesn't, I'm gonna say like tough, but he seems like he's like a, like he seems like he could be grumpy. Now, he was younger then.
Yeah, he was, here's what it was. I learned about professionalism from all three of them, from Jessica Lange, DeNiro, and Nick Nolte. Just what it is.
In terms of what? What do you mean
and
professionalism?
I'll explain. They all had such a good temperament, like really sweet. So when you mention Nick Nolte, I'm picturing his softness, like what a kind man he was then. And also, they're all really, we had a rehearsal process, and they're all asking questions and delving into the part and the relationships. And then, I don't know, they all show up on time. There's no egos. They just taught me a lot of what it is to make a dramatic movie, and how to give of yourself, and be kind to others and respectful of the crew. They all had that, yet they all worked differently.
Right.
So that was neat to see Marty direct them, because Jessica Lange was coming from theater,
right,
where she kind of does it. He told me was, he wanted me to ad lib off camera. I remember when we did this one scene to kind of to get a different reaction from her.
Scorsese was telling me that. That's cool.
And I was all nervous about that. Like, what?
Like, you're throwing her different lines.
Yeah, he wanted me to say something shocking to her he wanted to get something different. And then you have DeNiro, who is like coming up with all he would do, him and Marty together. Like DeNiro would, I remember one time I was talking with Marty in the trailer. And he's like, I'm going to Bob's trailer next. And I said, okay. Or no, he says, I just came from Bob's trailer. There was a gospel singer and they were speaking in tongues.
Oh, shit.
And there was an organ player or something all in his trailer. Like, this is all going down to prep him for Max Cady.
Right.
But what's beautiful about Marty is he would facilitate whatever each actor needed. He's going to give to them and provide, or have someone in the production provide. And so De Niro, who's playing a sociopath,
Right.
is doing all this what did you call it? I'm losing a word.
Wait.
Something.
Because he was speaking, he was on that devil shit. He was speaking in tongues.
Yeah.
And the fact that you just said that, I was just in Bob's trailer, and he had a
gospel singer,
and he was speaking in tongues, gave me the goosebumps.
Yeah.
See, that's the shit. That's Bob De Niro shit.
That's Bob De Niro's, but dig this. He didn't bring that to set.
That's right.
So then when I worked with him, but I was trying
crazy.
Yeah, so because you hear when you're coming up all about method, what method is, and I think we've all heard that Dustin Hoffman story.
Yeah.
And Laurence Olivier, why don't you try acting, my dear boy, or whatever. For those of you who don't know, it was Dustin Hoffman stayed out all night. He was hungover. He was all this.
And he was walking around with rocks in his shoes to make him have a limp.
Because he had to play this scene where all those things were occurring. And then Laurence Olivier saw this like tired, broken actor and was like, try acting, my dear boy, or whatever. So we hear these stories and you're like, what is the path? Because for me, I'm so into committing and giving 100,000%, but you can still be, you can be focused, committed, and still be kind and still be human.
Right.
So you see De Niro playing a sociopath, but when we did our scene where he's basically wants to murder me, rape and murder the girl, he's still at the end of the day gave me a hug and was like, "Good job."
Right.
And maybe he did that to me
because you're a girl.
Because I'm the girl and I'm the young, and maybe he is trying to create this trust relationship.
Right.
Because our characters are like that.
Right. But also, he's not a fucking animal.
Yeah, he's not a savage.
And he's not going to try to I'm going to really scare this 17-year-old girl into thinking.
Yeah.
But so, all right, so this scene in that film, what do you remember about that scene? First of all, how much
I remember a lot. You're asking
well,
I remember. It was a huge movie for me. I mean, I remember a lot.
Was it written as it came out? And did you know this is the pivotal scene for the character and did you feel like it was a special scene?
Yes. I mean, all I knew is a very long scene. And we don't often get, in retrospect, when I watched it, it was a 9-minute scene.
Right.
So it was mini theater in movies. You never get scenes nowadays it's like a 2-minute scene. It's all cut together. But that was a 9-minute scene of lots of cat and mouse, a real psychological tango of him trying to gain her trust, her not knowing. All this beautiful stuff was in it, layered stuff. So I knew it was rich with a lot of stuff to play. Yes, it was as written, except for 1 or 2 lines, but the majority of the scene, that's exactly how it was supposed to play. And then the infamous thumb in the mouth at the end, that was a De Niro idea that he had told Marty about. And the way it was written was, in that moment, he says, "Can I put my arm around you?"
Right.
So me as Juliette. Oh, this is funny. If you watch that scene... Oh, I have such a funny story.
Give it to me, Jules.
Okay, all right.
The motherfucking people want to hear it, Jules.
Oh, no. So I had started doing the movie. I had a dream about Bob, literally, I think the night before, and we were swimming in water. Okay?
Oh, shit.
Nothing else happened, but it was a dream you wake up from, and I all of a sudden have these soft feelings, okay? This different feeling, and then I knew we had this big scene, and then I knew in the scene... he's going to walk up and he says, "Can I put my arm around you?" So Max Cady says that to Danielle. Me as Juliette knows that's De Niro's going to be coming close to me. And then he's supposed to kiss her.
Right.
So that's how it was written. Marty said to me, "Hey, he's going to try something." And Marty, he's like, he's going to try something. He's going to do so. Just see what just go with it. That's what he said. He didn't want to tell me,
right.
But he's wanted to make me aware that there will be something different is going to happen. So what?
And is there 2 cameras rolling?
2 cameras.
Okay, so there's 2. So if people don't understand, there's a camera on Juliette and a camera on De Niro, so you're getting everything as opposed to.
Goodness, because what people don't know is then you're getting these fresh reactions as they're occurring
from
in
both
real
of you.
time. Yeah. So that scene where he comes close to me, that's the first take. We only did it twice, and what's in this scene or in the movie is the first take, and you'll see an entire so much expression happening as he tries to do the thumb. She stops, like, no, that's weird. Then he persists, and then she's going, oh, okay, is this good? You know, and it's such a little kid, or like a young. See, people talked about the sexuality because it is. But it's such a young girl before they even know about sexuality.
Right.
It's more about pleasing.
Right.
And it's more about approval.
Right.
Because there she's having friction with her parents. So we know from his mind it's invasive and horrifying. But for her, she's like, was that good? And you could see it in the face. It's so fucked up.
And
yeah. Oh, but the story I was going to tell you is okay. There's a part, and you can watch it where he goes, "Can Danielle?" I think he says Danielle. Can I put my arm around you? He does, or no? Do you mind if I put my arm around you? And there's a delay. Like I take 10 seconds, and the blood from my head goes to my feet, back up to my cheeks. I blush. I'm burning hot, and then I say, no, I don't mind.
Right.
And that shit is real.
Right.
Woo! If I watch that, it makes me laugh so much because I am blushing.
Right.
It's so real. So that was pretty exciting.
That's fucking dope.
It's unusual. You don't get those moments.
It's totally unusual. I mean, and then to be working with those guys in a scene like that, I mean... It's almost as if if you did another Scorsese De Niro movie now, you'd have a whole other experience and a whole other like appreciation for, not that you didn't appreciate it, but because it's like now. I mean, me and you have had De Niro conversations. Me and I remember we went to go see Analyze This, and we went to go see it day one at the fucking Beverly Center. We were like, we're gonna go see Bob. We're gonna go see Bob. Because
weren't we like, we'll accept any De Niro,
any fucking Bob.
Fucking day. You want to do comedy? I
don't give a fuck. Right? That's what it was.
That's what we did.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
I'm going to see it. We were in the and there was no one there. We went to go see it like early in the day.
Oh my God, Analyze This
because it was.
And he was doing a send up. He was basically doing a bit,
spoofing himself, which I think is great.
Yeah.
I think it's like when you've done as much as he has done. You could fucking do that. You know a segment on the show that I do on the I Am Rapaport podcast. The rest of the world knows. You don't know because you haven't heard it, but it is a worldwide phenomenon. I do it sometimes. I do the De Niro line of the week, where I'll talk about a De Niro line.
Okay.
I won't perform it because I'm not going to do that. But then I'll just talk about what it means to me, what was so iconic about it. So it's called the De Niro line of the week.
Ooh, I already got one. But...
What would be your De Niro line of the week?
Well,
oh shit, this is a fucking what would be your De Niro line of the week?
Because of the movie. Well, first of all, I want to say two things. One is people after Cape Fear, people said to me, people in our business and whatnot, they're like, you're going to be spoiled. And I was like, what? Working with this thing, with this caliber of people, you're going to be spoiled. And I didn't know what they meant. But what happened was when I did that movie, I was like, oh, good. This is how it's going to be from now on.
Yeah.
Like, because it was just a dream experience.
Yeah.
And then you realize 20 years in, no, those are the diamonds.
Yeah.
If you're lucky enough to get just a few gems in a career, then that's what you live for. But it's the exception. We know that's not the main thing. So, but yeah, the De Niro line, people imitate these things to me. I love De Niro impressions, bad ones, good ones. So I get this one from Cape Fear. What's it? Come out, wherever you are.
That's the De Niro line of the week, and it was
come out wherever you are.
That's people come up to you and say that shit, right?
They do. Wait. That's the scene where he's out. He gets jumped.
Yeah,
Nick Nolte's character is trying to bang him up,
and he flipped the script,
and then he goes, oh fuck, I forget it.
Fuck.
I'll philosophize you.
I know what you're talking about.
Philosophize
after
you.
He beats the guys up, right?
Yeah, it's some dark.
And physically, that was like probably the last De Niro performance where before he got older.
Yes.
Yeah, and he physically transformed himself.
I'm trying to think what age he was. Was that late 40s?
I think that had to be closer to 50.
50s?
I mean, he was fucking in shape there.
He was amazing. Yeah.
Bob fucking D, man.
And he was sun-soaked.
And he had the hair and shit.
Yeah, we were in Florida. We shot in Florida.
And you know what's like the thing about that performance? It's like his accent, people be like, his accent sucked, his accent. It's like, first of all, who the fuck are you? What do you fucking know about an accent? Second of all, it's like... you know, people have won Oscars. I wouldn't name names, but people have won and been nominated for Oscars with accents that aren't fucking like, you know, people like, you're not this, you're not that. I got criticized for an accent, and I was like, suck a fucking dick with your fucking accent. Like, and they're like, Bob DeNiro sucked at his accent in Cape Fear. Like, what are you talking about?
Did he move you? Did he instill fear in you? I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
That's more important. For me, it's always what you feel is way more important than technicality.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there are some great technicians in acting. They're very good technically.
Yes.
But they don't stir my insides.
Right.
Yeah.
Emotionally spill it out on the floor.
Yeah.
I want to ask one more De Niro question because you told me something one time. And you're gonna be like, damn, Mike, you got a good memory. But you said like you said you ran into. I'll remember
man, at a party.
And it was at a restaurant. It was at this restaurant called Jar, I think, on Beverly. And you said, or maybe it was at a party, but you said something about, I made up those lines.
Yeah, he schooled me. So
tell the whole thing.
So I actually said this
because
it was beautiful.
Me that,
I actually said this. There was a tribute where everybody was honoring De Niro. So I said this publicly, this story. But I was like 18 or 19, and after doing so much press and I kind of developed a chip on my shoulder because sometimes people try to take away your credit or whatever, or they think, like, especially I'm a young girl, they were like saying so-and-so got this performance out of me, or because Natural Born Killers, it was Oliver Stone, and so you sort of can get a little brash, especially I'm like young too. So let's see, I ran into De Niro at a restaurant. I think I was 20, and he had seen Natural Born Killers.
Right.
And this is Bob De Niro going out of his way to tell me, you did a good job. You did a good job. And in his stammering way that he does, and he was like, I just want to tell you, I saw that movie. You did a good job. And I went, rather than take the compliment like a fucking asshole, I go, because it's insecurity, no matter which way you slice it. It was insecurity. I go, oh yeah, well, I made up like 90% of my dialogue because I improvise a lot, but that's neither here nor there. He's paying me a compliment. Say thank you.
And keep it moving.
Yeah, fucking be humble. But because I was slightly insecure or whatever, I said that, and he goes, no. He cut me off, and he goes, don't ever take away from the writer. Don't ever take away from the writer or the director. And he literally shut me down. And that moment, there's a handful of moments in this business where I completely changed. Like, I never did that again. I fully absorbed the lesson he was teaching me in that moment. And I went, oh gosh, I was being like not humble. That was weird that I did that.
Right.
And so I thought that was really sweet that he did that.
I remember what you told me that because I was like, I understood that because that kind of like, well, they didn't do that.
It's weird.
Take the compliment, whether it's right, wrong, valid, half compliment.
Whatever. Just thank you.
Shut the fuck up and be happy that someone's complimenting you on anything.
I know. We learn because people don't know half of it, the struggles you have on certain films,
and you're
young. This, that, and the other.
You're a kid.
I don't know. Yeah.
So you do Cape Fear. You get nominated for Oscar, and I'm bringing it to Allen Iverson because he's famous for cornrows. But before Allen Iverson, Juliette shows up at the fucking Oscars with the motherfucking cornrows. Before Allen Iverson, I think, was even in the NBA.
Listen, let's just roll it back. Before Madonna, before Christina Aguilera, before Timberlake. No, here's the hilarity.
I think there might have even been before Snoop Dogg came out with it was just like, I got nominated for the Oscar. And then, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to show up at the Oscars with cornrows. And I told you this before. I was working on a film the night of the Oscars. Yeah. I was working on a film with your dad called, hold on, La Femme Nikita.
Oh, my dad was in that?
Yes, and the night of the Oscars that you showed up with cornrows, we're just going to keep saying that.
All right.
I was shooting La Femme Nikita with your dad. And I kept saying, I hope she wins, I hope she wins, I hope she wins, because I was a fan. And you didn't win, but let's talk about the Oscars and the blowback of the fucking cornrows. Like seemed like the blowback. I mean, it was as if you had fucking showed up butt ass naked. Like people were like, didn't know
Let
what
me
the
explain
break it
something
down.
to you.
Thank God, you should say this. Thank God Twitter didn't exist then. Because imagine you showed up at the fucking Oscars and Twitter existed with the fucking cornrows.
But here's the thing.
Break it down.
I didn't care. That's the thing is I didn't know at all. I wasn't conditioned to think in those terms like we all are now, like what you're wearing, your looks. It was like I joked with my friend, my man, that I was like a feral cat. Like but even in the industry, I didn't have like a stylist or any training. So for me, what did I go to? I went to.
But you knew you were going to a hookah party at Venice Beach. I knew
it was the ball. Here's the thing: what the braids were for me was when I was a teenager. The kids I was hanging out with, they did my hair like that, and I felt raw. I felt tough, and I felt badass.
Right.
And so my simple mind at that time, I was 19. I was like, oh, I got to go dress up. What should I do to my hair? Oh, well, I felt raw and tough and strong with this hairdo. So I'm going to revert back to that. Like, it was such a weird, simple
I got you.
frame of mind. And then the dress I wore, I went and bought at a thrift shop.
Right.
Like, I had no formal styling. But when I showed up like that, the questions they kept asking were like, what statement are you trying to make with your hair? Like, everybody thought it was some political thing. And I was just like, what? I really was.
You're like, I'm fucking hip hop, bitch.
I just was walking through it.
You were on some DJ Quick shit.
It was pretty bizarre.
The next film I'm going to talk to you about is Husbands and Wives, which to me is one of my favorite Woody Allen films. You came like, and a lot of that was filmed where I grew up in Manhattan on the Upper East Side, and like you were like, and I know you're not like that.
Oh yeah, no, that's like not my world at all.
But you
first of all, educated, college, knowing all those writers,
right? You didn't know what the fuck you were saying.
No, the brilliant thing about Woody Allen is he writes so good, and riffs so good. The characters just sort of riff. That I just resorted on what I always resort on, which is commit 110%. If you believe, they'll believe. And I'm playing a college student who's so what's the word? Not precocious, but who is a little bit cocky and
she's
drives
a manipulator.
him crazy. Yeah, and she's manipulative. So it was just something so well written, but. Woody, I'm walking into a thing where he's giving me all this freedom because Woody Allen notoriously doesn't hold your hand. He doesn't direct much. He just writes great material and then sets you up to be filmed. And he didn't say much to me.
Isn't it the most ironic shit? Is that if you do an episode, let's say a bad episode of TV, or you do a bad film, unless you're working with someone who's really, really specifically great and they're into detailed specifics. But I have not worked with those kinds of people.
Right.
But the majority of the great experiences that I have had, whether it be in TV or film, are when you're with people that let you feel comfortable and that they like what you just said about Woody and Scorsese, where they tell you, they encourage you to bring things to the...
Yes, they give you the environment. They create an environment that's creative, that is fertile. Like Oliver Stone, he wanted the best from you. He would love people to come up, improvise, come up with ideas. I wrote scenes in Natural Born Killers.
Actually wrote them down?
Yeah, I wrote a scene where, like, there's this one scene when Tom Sizemore visits Mallory in the jail.
Right.
And I say...
With the singing?
Yeah, before... The singing is written, but where I say to him, he's sitting there, and I say... Because the subtext of the scene is I'm just winding him, I'm reeling him in like a cat with a mouse.
Cat with a mouse.
Or no, like a spider with a fly. Because I start
Spiders
going...
and flies?
A spider sets a web. So
with a fly?
For the fly.
I'm not the one to fucking do the analogies with the fucking animals, Juliette. Okay, I got you. The people will know. The people
point is, she goes, you know what I've been thinking about? Flesh on flesh, sex, fucking.
Right.
That, when I wrote that, because what is she? She's going to a base level thing to just light him up. And so I wrote that on a napkin in the hotel room.
And he was like cool. And
I showed Oliver and he's like, good, do it. Let's hear it.
That fucking film, like, to me, like, I've watched that movie so many fucking times, and it's like, I still can't make total heads and tails of how it was shot, the black and white, the 8mm, like the whole
mixed
thing,
media,
the whole fucking thing. Like, so now you're still young, like you're on a fucking roll. Like you did Cape Fear, you did the fucking Woody Allen movie. I don't know if Strange Days was before that.
No, that's Strange Days is sort of the end of the thing, and then I took time off.
But Natural Born Killers, like talk
I did
about
Gilbert
that.
Grape. Oh, well, I didn't mean to skip over Husbands and Wives. The point is to echo what you were saying is the best directors, they just know what they're looking for, and they create it, and they also create an environment to that you can excel and bring your best.
And they're not micromanaging your fucking,
they're not
scratching your nose or picking your every fucking, you didn't say it and you said
yes.
it. And it's like,
we've all had that.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do, I'm like, at this point, I'm just like, okay. Like I used to like fight and argue, and I used to get mad when older actors didn't. But now I understand. It's like because you're not going to win that fight. You're going to look crazy.
Yeah, I think we're both talking about similar jobs we've had. Like I'm doing a TV show now that's creatively fulfilling and nurturing, and I love my bosses, my show creator. But I've done another show where I did get micromanaged, where the guy, if you forgot to say
You're not Shakespeare.
No, well, the other thing is, it's like, why did you hire my breed to do this? Yeah, why just hire? There's all kinds of robots. There's all kinds of people.
Especially someone like you. Like you're bread and butter to me as an actress. Like I know you're a technical actor, but your bread and butter is your emotional depth. Like to me, like when I'm like, whether it's comedy or drama or whatever, but like when you like are at like that raw, comfortable place, whether it's like old school or fucking breaking shit in Natural Born Killers or even that fucking TV movie that we talked about, where like you're fucking like, I want to see this chick break a fucking table. Like that's like your shit. So like why?
I do think people like to see me.
They do like to see you fucking go nuts because you do it, but then it's so rare that you see a girl do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And that's why I liked watching you perform live with your music,
rock and roll. That's where you
like,
see the guttural stuff, the visceral, whatever words
you're doing. Fucking
use.
Somersaults. You're like, it was like
primal, I believe we call it
primal.
Yes,
but like, I mean, like, because I think there was even a project that we were talking about at one point. I think it was a friend of mine. They were talking about doing the Iggy Pop story, and you were in discussions to play Iggy Pop, and I was like, that makes fun. And he was like, I think I might cast a girl. I think I want to cast Juliette Lewis. I go, do it.
I remember that.
I think it was
would
Nick.
Have been so fun and inspired. They never ended up making that.
It ain't over till it's over.
Yeah, you know.
Natural Born Killers. Was it a fucking nut house? Was it crazy? Like we're seeing, like were the beginning and ends to scenes? Was it like was there a first AD? Because it seems like it's just like anything was happening.
Free for all. It was a bit of a guerrilla production, like all kind. Because guerrilla meaning a skeleton crew. You know, this crew shooting this shooting this, and non-narrative. That was the other movie. I had to just be present. Just each scene is its own animal, you know, like when we were in the car and the cops are going to stop us and we just took mushrooms, you know, as it's written. You just have to play make-believe the whole time. We were just playing pretend, and it's a bit psychedelic. And Oliver used some of the stuff that's in there was our screen test.
Oh shit.
So literally you're like, he stood us in front of screens with lighting going over us, and that was our screen test.
And it was in the film.
And he ended up using bits and pieces in the film. So even he was just sort of doing his raw, to me it's like Oliver's psychedelic movie in a way. It was like his breaking the mold.
The filmmaking is fucking great.
Yeah.
The editing and the filmmaking.
The editing is off the charts, because if you knew how much was shot, the editor to carve out that movie was a task. I mean, that's a huge undertaking. And then Bob Richardson, I have to say, that DP, I mean, he's won awards. He's amazing. It was a tough shoot.
And then the talking to the camera, like I told you one time, like I said, I was doing a show. It actually got cut out, but I said to you, I said, I think I told you, I said, I've stolen from you and Tupac as far as actors, amongst other people. I've stolen from so many people.
I love the
no, but it's true.
Company I'm in.
No, that's fucking true. I say this like, but there's a scene after you guys kill the Indian chief.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Why? And I go into the camera.
Like, is he saying say that? Like that's the kind of thing. Like what I'm saying. Was it a free for all? Like, did you look into the camera by accident?
Yeah, he didn't tell me to do that. It was just that's the set I was on. That's what I could do. And the camera half the time was in our face because it was handheld, and he wanted that. He almost wanted to make it really uncomfortable for people, and so the filming represented that. The way it was filmed. I remember one of my favorite stories is when we walked through rattlesnakes.
Yes.
Me and Woody. So we're outside in the desert. It's night. There's a rattlesnake wrangler. Okay, so that's a guy.
Wait, those are real rattlesnakes?
I'm going to tell you right now. There's real ones mixed with fake ones. All over.
And we're going to keep it fun, and we're not going to tell you which ones they are.
Well, I like to practice some safety in my life. So I talked to the rattlesnake wrangler, and here's what helped me. Before we shot this scene where we're supposed to be tripping and clumsy and on mushrooms, and we walk through rattlesnakes, they're supposed to be everywhere, and then he gets bit. So that's the scene. They had shot a close-up of a real rattlesnake biting a fake leg that had a jean pant on it. And I watched them film the scene, and it took forever to get the rattlesnake to bite the jean. And I was like, I thought rattlesnakes just go after you right away. And the rattlesnake wrangler guy, he said, no, it's cold. When they're cold, when they're coiled up, it's really hard to get them to bite. Most people, it's when it's hot, it's in the day, and rattlesnakes will bite you. So when I saw that, it made me feel slightly safer. I wouldn't want to walk into one, but it made me know when they're coiled up, like when they're cold, they just stay coiled. Mm-hmm. But anyway, just to show you how I'd like to give props to me and Woody, the camera guy was like, I'm out. Not doing it. Sorry.
I'm not fucking
I
with
draw
the
line at walking backwards because he would have had to walk backwards filming us. He's like, I'm not, even though you're putting him a few feet away.
Fuck that.
He's like, I'm not doing this. And so Oliver just got in the other cameraman because there was like two camera guys who would do it, which I think was Bob Richardson. But yeah, so we didn't get bit, but I like to say I walked through rattlesnakes.
For natural born killers.
Yeah.
And so that film.
Sorry, that's my sister. That's
tell
my
her to
sister.
fucking, is it fucking Brandy?
Yes.
Tell her to fucking mind her fucking business. You're here with fucking Michael Rapaport. You're doing the I Am Rapaport
I'm saying
podcast.
come to Hollywood. I was going to meet her in the valley.
No,
We're
fuck
not
that
doing it.
shit, man.
Come to Hollywood.
Fucking, it's my fucking
with
time.
Fucking Mike.
Yeah,
right now.
fuck that shit. And where's her fucking husband? Tell him to fucking take a fucking
You
walk.
need to do the next podcast with Ethan Suplee.
Oh, I'll get him.
He'll
for sure.
school you all about art.
Yeah.
He's an art dealer guy now.
I'll fuck with Ethan. I'll fuck with Ethan Suplee.
Ethan's the best. You guys will have so much fun.
He's a good dude.
Ethan Suplee, everybody.
All right, so let me skip it. I can't talk about everything. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Great fucking movie, iconic. Johnny Depp, Leonardo DiCaprio,
Leo killing it in that movie.
Fucking Strange Days, Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah.
Where's she at? When are we going to fucking see?
She won an Oscar
I know.
2 years ago. I love The Hurt Locker.
She's really
intense.
Good.
She was intense. That was not a light set. I mean, none of them are light, but she likes to do things over and over and over again. Well, she did then. I don't know how she works now, but that I only say that because she's a painter, and she says that herself. She approaches it like a painter, so she likes everything. And that was a really ambitious movie,
right?
So she likes everything has to be working right in it. And there was a running joke with the crew. They wanted to get a shirt that said, "It's perfect. Let's do it again."
So
that's
what she was saying.
Yeah, that was her vibe. Like, it's perfect, but let's do it again. So then that's the Kubrick kind of fashion where you just keep doing it and doing it. But
which I've never worked. Yeah. Kubrick's the person you hear the most.
You hear that story?
75 takes for like walking down the street from.
You and I wouldn't. I don't.
Stanley, I fucking love you, and I would have loved to have worked with you. And he's a New York Jew, and I feel like we could connect on that. But the 75 takes and the cameras, down the street, it might not have worked. And okay, I'm going to skip forward. What about old school?
That was it was an opportunity.
You're funny in that.
Thank you. It was funny because when was that? Like 10 years ago?
Yeah,
nobody knew.
more.
You know, I'm lighthearted.
Yes.
You know, so I still had the reputation. People, when they would meet me, think I'm gonna like lose my temper or
and break some shit.
I'm gonna go schizo,
run your head into a door.
Yeah, which would be awesome.
Yeah,
but I don't do that.
No.
So. Actually,
you should start doing that.
I love that. No, I've joked with people now when I meet them. I'm like, what do you want? You want me to smack you around? Because I get the vibe. Some people do want me to smack them around. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Old School was a great opportunity to be funny. It was just a cameo. Todd Phillips came to me for that. It was like, do you want to do this? It was to
Did you have any idea that it was going to be that good? Like from the script, or like did you read the script?
I knew the script was funny, but I had no idea it'd be like this movie that everyone saw. And oh my God, Will Ferrell, Frank the Tank.
The Tank.
We live for Will Ferrell in that movie. It's so good. So I just had that one scene in the beginning. I thought it was funny. It gave me a chance to do a certain kind of girl that is a different breed than me.
Right.
And then Todd liked it, so they added another scene for me at the end with Will Ferrell, and we just improvised that whole scene in the grocery store.
Yep.
And I loved doing that with those guys.
And then what about the movie that I felt like was kind of like back in the drama shit was the Hilary Swank Sam Rockwell flick.
Yes,
which I loved. And then you're like playing Southern white trash.
No, not Southern. She was from Boston.
Okay,
up in
Boston.
Talk about an accent. That was really difficult
in the trailer.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, that movie, you know,
it wasn't Boston, it was Massachusetts, but in the country, like it was even different than the city. But anyway,
but
go on.
no, but not a lot of people saw that movie. Like, I
Conviction.
felt like that, you know, like that's a really good film.
I thought so. I thought just because it's a true story. I thought Sam Rockwell is
really fucking good.
That was special for me because it was two scenes. One of the scenes was one of the hardest things I've ever done because of all the twists and turns the character does within the scene.
Yeah.
So all I'm ever looking for is things to test myself, to challenge myself, to do the untried, to be uncomfortable, to be, you know, the opposite of a walk in the park.
Right.
You know, that's what we do. I joke sometimes with people that I'm... I have a masochistic heart as a creative soul. Because I don't know, you want it to hurt a little or feel uncomfortable. I don't know why, because you're going to depths. Then you know you've achieved something.
Right.
And you've done something you didn't know you could do. Right. So Conviction was one of those parts. And I was with my band, you know, I had a rock and roll band for years.
Right.
And took off and did that and was touring and that was my livelihood for a while. And then I came back to do that kind of drama. It was really exciting.
Meryl Streep, what did that mean working with her?
I don't know.
In August Osage.
August Osage County. It's from a Tracy Letts play, a play that won a Pulitzer Prize.
Yes.
They made a movie. It was a whole bunch of amazing actors were in it, but it was Meryl Streep. So,
but how good is she? Like when you're seeing her, like, you know, I know.
To me, she's our DeNiro. You know, you have your DeNiro and then there's Meryl Streep. So she's everything you'd want her to be. And I connected with her on so many levels because she doesn't throw her weight around on a set. And she is the queen. When she is on the set, that is our...
It's like Picasso or Van Gogh.
Yeah, it's a Picasso. And
when she's actually in between action and cut, are you like... Wow, are you like seeing the greatness right in front of you?
Yeah, she had a part where she was dying of cancer and she was a pill addict but funny, like all these things. And when she would turn it on and it's happening and the camera's rolling, to me, I just liken it to channeling. Because you work with other actors, they're doing a good job, they're giving it, but it's otherworldly, her talent. And beyond that, what I learned from her is how it can be done, how you can sustain and have a life in this wild industry we're in. and be graceful and loving and kind and humble and funny. You know, she's all those things. So yeah, it was a real honor to spend time with her.
Okay.
And we had dinner, and at our house, and did scenes and all that.
And she's like regular in real life, right? She's
Yeah.
like totally cool and
Yeah.
fun, and there's no like fucking weirdo artist type of, like, she's like cool, right?
Yeah.
All right, 2 more questions. I know you need like a sausage or
literally
something.
hallucinating.
Okay, here we go. 3, if you had to bring 3 records with you, if you were going to a desert island, I'll say 5.
Okay.
You're never coming back. And you got to bring 3 records with you. What records would they be? What albums, CDs? Doesn't matter what format, but what 5 records you get to bring?
Okay, I'm gonna go. Neil Young. I got this record. It's called Decades
Okay.
or something. So it's not even. It's a bunch of his songs from other records, I believe. But I think it's Decade or Decades. Neil Young.
Okay. That's 1. You got 4 more.
It's hard because I have endless Bob Dylan. I'm just going to the classics. Sorry, I
You
don't
got
know.
5 records. This is the rest of your life. You're
Wait,
never
5?
gonna
I
be
thought you said 3.
5.
Oh, I need some
You
Bob
want to only
Dylan.
bring 3, and then it's
I thought
your-
you said 3.
No,
but
it's 5.
5. Jesus. I don't even know records because I just have tons. But Bob Dylan, I got to bring some Bob Dylan. I'll bring the record that has, God on My Side.
Okay.
God, what was another song I was listening to? I don't know if it's on the same record, but She Belongs to Me.
All right,
I
then-
Want You. This is all Bob Dylan.
Just because I like you, you could bring the whole fucking Bob Dylan collection, right?
Okay,
Because you're breaking
his,
my balls. You got 3 more records now. You better pick the whole fucking
Anthology?
record, okay? Just the record. It's not. We're not bringing the greatest hits from anymore else.
I'm going to go Jimi Hendrix, Bold, or Axis. What's it?
Of Love,
Is it? No, it's not Axis.
Bold as Love.
No.
I know the album.
It's the other one that's more trippy. You can listen to it from start to finish.
Okay.
I'm just going to pick things that are coming to my mind. I'm going Miles Davis, Bitches Brew.
Okay, and you got 1 more.
Actually, I would go Miles Davis, Star People.
Okay.
Not a lot of people have heard this record. It's beautiful, amazing.
Okay.
I
You
was
go-
listening to it when I was 16.
1 more record.
Let's see what else.
I know you love David Bowie.
I know. I thought of that, but you don't. I can't do greatest hits. I just know these greatest hits. I'm just
Velvet
gonna go
Underground?
With, yeah, I was thinking.
No females. Come on,
Velvet.
are you a feminist?
I'm gonna go.
Would you
yeah,
call yourself a
100%.
feminist? Okay.
All that is female proud. That's
Okay.
it. That's it.
You'll cook a motherfucker some steak and eggs,
what
right?
Some. Oh my gosh, I'm traditional. I'm like loving. I take care of my man.
All right.
I'll do his laundry, stuff like
Some
that.
of these new age feminists, these broads won't even make
No,
some popcorn
they
for a
don't have it
motherfucker.
right. They don't have it right. It's
know what I'm
not.
saying?
It's man loving. I'm a man loving feminist.
Okay,
That's
but,
my quote.
But I'm saying like you could be a feminist, but can I get a ham and cheese sandwich? That's all I'm just.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
We give and take. We
Yeah.
give to each other. I think people got it confused, but feminism is just you just want to be, have some equality and not the constant sexualization. It's
Right.
like it's just requiring people just to be a little bit more thoughtful
Right.
in their approach.
Right.
Okay, so let's see. I could go Fleetwood Mac
Okay.
or I want to go Velvet Underground, like you
Okay.
said, but I can't think of what record.
That's
'Cause I
fine.
just got the anthology.
You
where
could bring
it's
the whole
4
box
records.
set. Bring the whole fucking box set.
I'm getting Velvet Underground box
Fine.
set. Okay, we're done.
Everyone else is going to just show up with 5 records, Julie. You're going to show up with a whole box.
All of them are box sets.
No, but people are going to be out on this island of people with the records. Like they're
Yeah.
going to just have 5, and they're like, "Why the fuck does this broad have like a whole fucking package?"
because I can't decide. I like diversity, and it's in my music.
Okay.
Although I went to the staples, the staple,
I got
Jimi
you.
Hendrix, Dylan, Neil Young.
I got
These
you.
are all my go-tos.
I'm just saying, other
and
people on
Velvet
the island are
Underground.
going to be jealous. Okay, and then my final question: the same thing. There's no screwing around here. You get to bring 5 movies. The last 5 movies you're going to watch the rest of your
Jesus.
life. Pick them. I don't have to be in any of them. It's fine. Go ahead, pick them. 5 movies, Jules.
I'm going to go to, okay, what about Bill Murray?
That's good. You want some humor on this island because
Yeah.
things are going to get bleak.
That's my happy place.
Okay.
That movie. Well, bleak. I like really dramatic Francis, but you might want to kill yourself after you watch that movie. It's so dark.
Yes. Jessica Lange, right?
Yes, Jessica Lange, Francis, about a woman that gets a lobotomy by her wonderful mother.
Yes.
It's horrifying.
It's a feel-good movie, too.
Yeah, Midnight Express, another feel-good movie.
Yes.
Loses his mind in a Turkish prison. It's so beautiful. There's a scene where they're all walking around in a circle because they're bananas, and he wants to walk the other way. That scene could bring me to tears. I could pause that scene and talk about life with you. He just wants to walk the other way, and they cannot. They're on automatic pilot, and he's just trying to upset the system, but not in any dark, horrible way, but just to go, you can walk the other way. Sorry, I get impassioned.
No, I love it. I'm glad.
I get impassioned. You have to watch for that scene.
That's what I want to fucking hear from you, Jules. That's why I'm asking these questions. I wanted to.
I get emotional about that scene.
That's why I'm asking these questions. That's why I'm asking.
It's
and you're like, I just want a piece of turkey. But this is the shit that this is why I wanted to interview you, because I know you get excited about these things.
Yeah, I think, but I didn't even know how much that scene meant to me. Because Midnight Express, most people think, oh, he's trying to get hash and he gets put in the jail and all the torture. But to me, that scene is such a comment on the human spirit and his resilience and all this stuff.
I love that you just said that.
Yeah.
Now you got 2 more movies.
All right. So, Being There with Peter Sellers. That's my go-to.
Choice.
Again, this is another movie that's almost philosophical. It's beautiful. He kind of walks on water at the end. Mm-hmm. And it messes up your mind a little bit. You're like, did we watch this or is it this? And he's a savant. And he makes all these metaphors about gardening, and people think he's a brilliant philosopher, and he was just a gardener. So again, it has a little bit of this magic to it.
Yes.
Okay, and then speaking of magic, I'm going to go to a Fellini movie called Knights of Cabiria that I wanted to remake, but it was very hard to get the rights. Juliette. What's her wife? No, it's not Juliette Messina. Is it Juliette Messina? She's like a Lucille Ball.
Yes.
She has a Lucille Ball quality. She plays a prostitute.
Yes.
But she's a rebel. So
yes.
These are all things that I identified very much with in this.
That's a good choice.
Movie.
That's a good choice.
Oh, good. These are my go-tos. I'm glad I passed that test.
All right, that's it. The people are going to want more. They're going to be like, you didn't ask her this. You didn't ask her that. It's fine. She'll be back. And she needs food.
Feminism, like so many things, loving your man, like all kinds of topics. But I need some food.
You need some fucking food, and you know what? I got shit to do too, Jules. So This is the I Am Rapaport podcast. It's been my pleasure to interview my friend, and I was able to play fan, Juliette Lewis, and we're gonna make sure. And also tell the people at ABC for your new hit show.
Yeah.
Why isn't it on demand?
It's not? I don't know any of this. I'm new to this world. Tell them put it on demand?
Yeah, because if a motherfucker wants to rewatch it because they're interviewing on the podcast, like, if you don't record it, I should be able to watch it whenever I want.
Let me ask about that.
Call fucking higher ups and get that shit going. Just let them know.
They need to be hip to that demand.
On-demand shit. You know what I'm saying?
This.
Anyway, that's it. This is the I Am Rapaport podcast, and we out.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Jules.